This is Soundout here at the Albuquerque Comic Con. Today I'll be interviewing Steve Cardenas, who played Rocky in Power Rangers, throughout Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Zeo.
Yeah.
So we at Herotaku are big Power Rangers fans, so we always like to take a chance to interview the actors that are Power Rangers. And the question that I always have is, how are the interactions you have with fans at conventions, and overall your general impression of the fandom?
Well, I mean, obviously, anybody that's not grateful for their fans shouldn't be coming to these shows or anything like that, So I'm really grateful for my fans, I didn't realize I had so many fans, because after I stopped doing the show, I didn't really have anything to do with acting or Power Rangers or anything like that for many, many years. And then in 2007, they put together something called Power Morphicon, which was like a Power Ranger convention that was just solely for Power Rangers. So I got invited to that, and when I went to that show, I remember first walking out of the hotel lobby and walking to the ballroom that we were about to do the show, and there was a whole group of people just lined up, and they started cheering and applauding as soon as I walked out, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize there was so many fans, They were still around, and they still existed, So I was pretty happy about that, and, really grateful and really glad to be a part of something so cool.
So the question I was going to ask is, how's your life been since Power Rangers?
I started out my career as teaching martial arts, That's what got me into Power Rangers, because they hired me because I knew how to do martial arts. So that's always been my love, has been being a martial arts instructor. I knew that's what I wanted to do with my life. So after Power Rangers, I opened up my own martial arts studio, and I've been running martial arts studios ever since.
It's pretty impressive.
That's what I still do now.
All right. So back in 1994?
1994.
You were replacing the Red Ranger, which was the current leader of the team.
Yeah.
Were you ever nervous about filling in a huge role because of this large success that was happening at the time?
Oh yeah, I was really nervous. I was really worried that how the fans were going to react to me, because I knew there were going to be a lot of pissed off people,
Yeah.
So I just was hoping that I'd be able to try to live up to it, And the thing was that everybody on the set was really cool to me, so that really helped ease me into the transition. But yeah, in the beginning I was very nervous about it, the fact that I was replacing somebody. But over time, everybody accepted it.
So the thing that always comes up to mind is, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie was filmed during the course of the TV series. How was it different filming for that movie as opposed to the series itself?
It's a good question. This TV show was filmed on a really tight budget, and we had to move everything very, 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 very quickly. So everything was shot really, really fast, and we were shooting several episodes at a time. We were shooting 2-3 episodes at a time. So we'd do many costume changes, wardrobe changes, different sets, bouncing around the sound stage. All day. We'd work like 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, and it was no joke. The movie, though, was a lot slower. I found myself sitting on my trailer for hours sometimes with nothing to do, because they would just film. We'd film a scene and we'd do the same scene over and over and over and over. We did like 30 takes on every scene, so if I wasn't in a particular scene, I could be gone for hours. Yeah, sometimes I'd have days off, So, it was really like, we would film sometimes like, 2 episodes in a week on the show, and then the movie, it took like 4 months to complete the movie, 4 months for an hour and a half segment. So, there was a definite difference as far as, the production value was much bigger and much greater as well, too.
So they could afford to pay all the people for those extra time.
They could afford to pay people for the extra time, exactly.
So, me, personally, I'm studying to be a film crew person.
Uh-huh.
And I was wondering, did you have a good relationship with the crew that was working on Power Rangers while you were acting?
Yeah, when I was on the show, I was friends with more of the crew members after work than I was with the cast members. Nowadays I'm more friends with the cast. I see them at the conventions all the time. We hang out together on a regular basis. But when I was working on the show, when I was done with the show, I was done seeing those guys. I'm like, but I would always hang out with the crew members all the time. Some of those guys were like some of my best friends.
That's cool.
And still are.
All right, so in Power Rangers Zeo, you went from being the Red Ranger to being the Blue Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever feel like your character may have been lessened because of that?
I'm sorry.
maybe your character did not have as significant as a role because you're now blue instead of red.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't as significant. However, though, it really wasn't. I mean, once Tommy became the White Ranger and the White Ranger was the leader, it was already known, you know? I mean, it was already known that the Red Ranger was already, like, you know, taking a back seat anyway. So it was really no change. I mean, everybody knew that Tommy was the leader. And so when it switched from Mighty Morphin to Zeo, there was really no difference in my role or in the command or the chain of command, so to speak. You know, so I don't really know that people would think that. You know, only in the beginning where there might have been confusion. You know, but you know, anyone that took it all the way through Zeo really knew that whatever my role was as the Red Ranger in Power Rangers is the same as Zeo. Not as significant as Tommy is what I mean.
So, when a lot of people saw a Turbo Power Rangers movie, did you ever have any fans asking you if you were actually injured?
Yeah, all the time.
Is that just a common question?
Injured. Yeah, they ask me all the time. But I was not injured for real. It was just part of the script.
Well, that's good. Let's see. So, there's been a lot of stories of when the Power Rangers actually working the show, a lot of them ended up becoming roommates to afford costs of living and food during the production of the series because of how much time you're spending on set and how little pay that would be coming in.
Yep.
Did you have any of those kind of issues?
No, I lived on my own when I was on the show. I didn't have roommates from the show or cast members that I lived with or anything like that. You know, I took the money that I got from the movie, and that really helped me to be able to, like, you know, to live. And then from that, I took the money that I got from the movie, and I opened up my own martial arts studio. And so then I was getting that extra income from the show and this karate school as well. So, you know, I was able to afford to live on my own.
All right. So, let's see. All right. So here's a little fan question. What was your first thoughts of seeing yourself as an action figure?
Well, the first day I was on the set, they had one of the set photographers come up and stand me like against the wall, and then he walked around and took a 360 degrees worth of pictures of my whole head. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, well, because we have to we have to get, you know, every angle so we can make the doll for your head, for the doll." I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna have a doll." So I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, you know, who would not like that?
Yeah, just yourself is immortalized in plastic.
Yeah, exactly.
So are you glad that these series has seen some added popularity because of the Netflix and the DVD releases in the past
the
year?
DVDs releases, the 20-year reunion. Yeah, I'm very, very happy about it.
All right, well, I was really glad to talk to you today.
Cool, thanks, man.
It was fun talking to you, and you have anything you'd like to promote for what you're doing upcoming?
If anybody ever well, I mean, I have tons of shows coming up for 2014. If you look at my Facebook fan page, I'm going to keep everybody posted on that. So it's, you know, facebook.com/Steve Cardenas 123. That's my Facebook fan page. You can follow me on Twitter at Steve Cardenas PR. And also, I have a jiu-jitsu studio called Force Balance Jiu-Jitsu. You can look that up at www.forcebalancebjj.com.
All right, well, thank you for talking to me.
All right,
Be sure to stay tuned to Herotaku.com for more interviews.